Hey there, I'm Jenn Herman, and chances are you're watching this video because you think the Instagram algorithm changed. Something happened, your content isn't performing as well as it normally does, your reach is down, something is going on, and you're convinced that something has changed, and so you probably Googled something along the lines of, did the Instagram algorithm change? Well, let's talk a little bit about the Instagram algorithm before I explain whether or not it did change. Really quickly, there's probably thousands of different criteria at play all the time when it comes to the Instagram algorithm. We are aware of some of the major contributing factors which are going to have the largest impact. All of these other criteria in the background, we don't know. We will probably never know what those criteria are, and they have a minor impact on how the algorithm works. So while there are tweaks all the time going on in the background, to answer your question, no, chances are the Instagram algorithm did not actually change. But Jenn, I'm telling you, my engagement is down, or something about, your reach is drastically down. And I get these emails all the time. I get multiple inquiries a week, whether it's via email, via DM, which is why I decided to film this video and answer this question. Because no, the majority of the time, the Instagram algorithm has not changed. There have been a few tweaks here and there, and I will always address those when we become aware of them. I will talk about it in my Facebook group, which is Jenn's Trends in Social Media over on Facebook. I will record a video. I will post about it on Instagram at JENNS_trends. I will talk about it if there are significant changes. If you're finding this video and I haven't announced a significant change, it really hasn't changed. But I'm not saying that your content hasn't been affected in some way. But has it really been affected? This is the first thing I always ask people, and I have jumped onto people's accounts. I have gone and looked at their content, and majority of the time, there hasn't been any significant changes. But you're the exception to the rule. I know. But are you really? I want you to go look at your metrics first. Go look at all of your posts from this month. Add up the likes for all of those posts and then divide by the number of posts. So if you posted 6 times this month, then go and look at how many likes were on each of those, add them up and divide by 6. That's your average engagement rate, or at least like rate, for your posts for the month. Do the same thing for last month and even the month before that. Look and see, is the engagement rate that drastically different? Because sometimes you may have a post that tanks. Absolutely. We all do. I have them too. And it's never because of the algorithm. There's way more at play when a single piece of content tanks. If your average engagement month over month is essentially the same, the algorithm is not doing anything to punish you. Your content is performing just fine. So here are some reasons why, even if you're looking at it, your engagement is down. Here's why it may be down, whether it's reach or engagement. There's a couple things. So it could just be straight up content saturation. If you're creating a post every single day, multiple times a day, multiple times a week, whatever it is, you may just be creating too much content. And chances are, if you're creating that much content, not all of it is high quality content. The way the algorithm works is if somebody sees your content and they don't engage with it and they scroll past it, that is a negative rank on the algorithm. So if you are constantly creating content that they don't interact with, then that is going to have a negative impact. You're going to rank lower and lower in that person's feed every time they scroll past your content. So if you're creating too much content, the algorithm can't show them everything. They're not logging in enough. They're not logging in frequently enough to show them every single one of your posts. So it's choosing which one to show them. And if you don't interact with it, or if they don't interact with your content, it's going to rank lower and lower. So content saturation and poor content are usually the biggest contributing factors. If you can create high quality content every single day and it drives engagement, then do it every single day. But if you can't create high quality content that is actually relevant to your audience, stop posting as frequently. If you're posting every day, try going down to 3 or 4 times a week. See if that has an impact over time. It takes at least 4 weeks for algorithmic changes to go into place. So don't just all of a sudden 1 week post 3 times and go, nope, didn't make a change. You have to give it at least a month. But slow down your posting schedule. See if that makes an impact. Only post the best quality content possible for your audience and what they actually want. If everything is salesy or it's all about you, they're not going to want to watch it. They're not going to want to read your captions. They're going to ignore it because it's all about you and not about them. So you have to look at your content strategy and make sure you're creating the right content for them. How can you figure this out? Quick tip, go into your insights on your Instagram account, go look at See All, where it has for post content, and you can actually rank all of your content. You can search by engagement, by reach, by website clicks, profile visits, all these different criteria for up to 2 years ago. And you can go and find out what is your top engaging content for the last year. Create more of that. If what you're doing now isn't driving engagement, go and find out what type of content you have created in the past that most likely generates engagement, and revise your strategy to have more of that content in it, and chances are you will start to see that engagement go up. Additionally, if your account is growing steadily, consistently, or in large kind of jumps of follower growth, your engagement rate is going to go down. This sounds counterintuitive, but what happens is, as your follower count grows, your engagement rate drops. When you only have 100 followers, they love you. They're diehard. They're in it for the long haul, right? Everything you do is amazing. When you get up to 500, you have some more casual followers that maybe don't log in as much. You get to 1,000, you get more of those casual followers. The dormant followers only log on to Instagram twice a year. They're not seeing your content. So you have more followers, but less people seeing your content, less people engaging with your content. So your engagement rate goes down. And as you get up to 10,000, 100,000, all of those higher numbers of followers, your engagement rate will drop. So where you could have, 20, 30% engagement at a small following, by the time you get up into a larger following, having 5% engagement is still great. It may look like it's down from where you were before, but if you've had significant follower growth over time, you should expect to see a decrease in that engagement. That is perfectly normal. And the other reason, kind of the final reason why you may have seen a drastic drop, if none of these things I've talked about really apply to you, and you're like, no, all of a sudden my content is just not getting any engagement, it's possible you've been flagged for spam. So people can flag you. You're not going to get a notice. No one's going to tell you that you've been flagged for spam. But if you have, you're basically thrown in jail, which means your content gets barely any reach. You're not going to get, shown into whether it's hashtag searches, location searches, because once you've been flagged for spam, you're put on lockdown. And even when you come out of that, whether that's 24 hours, 48 hours, it takes a while for you to regain any of that traction. And the post that you had during that jail time, that's never going to recover. So if you've had a drastic impact, maybe you've been flagged for spam, if you're tagging lots of people in posts, if you're blasting the same comments on people's content, or if you're being argumentative or rude or abusive in your comments, not saying that most people do this, but it can happen. Someone could choose to flag you for abusive content or for spam. And when they do that, you are put in jail. And the more times this happens, the longer your jail sentence lasts. So maybe that's what happened. I honestly don't know. I'm not looking at your content, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but these are the most common reasons for why someone sees a drop in engagement. And I do just want to point out that when you see that drop in engagement, 9 times out of 10 or 9.9 times out of 10, it's not because of the algorithm. You can't blame Instagram and say, well, Instagram's hiding my content. Instagram doesn't want me to be successful, because that is not the case at all. If your content isn't doing what it needs to do for your audience, it's going to perform poorly. So you need to figure out what works for your audience, create more of what works for them, and give yourself time to rebuild that engagement and start to see those positive interactions. As always, this YouTube channel is available for you as a source of tools and tips. Feel free to subscribe to this channel where I have all these things that I update all the time with news and updates and ways to help you better be successful on Instagram. So please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.